Now, so the first one is describe your personality in one word.
Grit.
Grit, I like that. Meet aliens or speak to ghosts.
Ooh. I think they're the same.
That's
There's a
good.
reason. I'm happy to explain.
Yeah, no, we definitely gonna dive in that after that. All right, so it don't even matter which one. If you do one, you're gonna be doing the other. All right, that's the first one. What's your current age?
I am 37.
37. And as of right now, today, what are you the top 1,000 at in the world?
Wait, repeat the question. I'm sorry.
Like as of today, Juneteenth, what are you the top 1,000 at in the world? So there's only 999 other people that can do what you do at the level that you can do it.
I would say running,
Running like a sprint or marathon, long distance running?
like marathons.
Oh, okay. All right,
Yeah,
all right. Pull over hoodie or zip up hoodie?
pull over.
Tequila or whiskey?
Uh, Tequila.
To kill you.
Tequila will kill you.
Increase creativity or increase intellect?
Increase, increase, hmm. I would increase intellect.
Intellect. No. Now you said running. Like I did see like just kind of getting ready for this. Like are you like an outdoorsy type person or I saw you ran like marathon before. Do you run them often or was that like a one-time thing or
It's a hobby. I started running like right after, like a couple of years after joining the Navy, and I love the outdoors. I love
Mhm.
nature, like fresh air, trees, like
Yeah.
it's just liberating. It's like the best thing ever. I spent literally an hour and 35 minutes today. I ran 10 miles.
Like this morning?
Yeah.
That's so is that like the first thing you do when you get up and just go for a run?
Yes, uh sometimes if I wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna go running at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'll work and then like around 7:30 and I'll go run. But if I get up like at 7 o'clock, literally that'll be like the second thing I do. After I pray, I go running.
Just go run. No, that's it. Do you run like the same trail or route, or do you kind of venture off and go try different sceneries or different things?
So I run in town. So I live in Livingston, New Jersey, and there's like a whole bunch of little trails and stuff. So I just pick routes. Like so it depends on the day, but I always
Yeah.
start in front of my house and then wherever life takes me, that's where I go.
Just like a free bird, just like just go where the wind blows almost. No,
Yes, because I
no,
told
that's
you
it.
I was only gonna run 5 miles. When I got to 5 miles and I'm like, wait, I gotta go run back home.
Yeah.
So I ran back home.
Have you ever got to a point where you're like, man, I need the Uber back, kind of, or you always finish it?
It happened a couple of years ago because it was so cold. It
Mm,
was I was running I when I got to 12 miles and then I stopped a couple of times and then I just couldn't move anymore. So I had to literally walk into a 7-Eleven and I called my ex-boyfriend at the time to pick me up. My body pretty much shut down.
yeah, that's crazy. Because of the
Yeah.
cold, or like just really, how cold was it?
It was like in the teens, but like
Oh,
you know when you're running like you get super hot and when you stop your body
yeah.
temperature quickly and my body couldn't warm up afterwards.
I mean, were you prepared though? Because a lot of times when I see people running, sometimes they have like it be 20 degrees outside and then no shirt on, or they got like these short shorts and like maybe a quarter zip on. Like, I mean, I'm out there in a full hoodie at 50 degrees, full sweats. Like, like how are you dressed there? Were you?
To your point, I had a hoodie on and it was
Uh,
like in the teens.
okay.
And, like my body just couldn't take it anymore. But my friends though, like my buddies like in New York, they literally run in like wife beaters and I'm like, it's 5 degrees
Yeah,
outside.
yeah, I see that a lot. I mean, that's wild. Are you a music person? You listen to music, or you just listen to like nature, or you got like an audio book? Like, what's what you got going on in the head when you're running?
That's a great question. It depends on the day. I love running because I have like two marathon playlists, and
Hmm.
then like, but I've been getting into a lot of podcasts. So sometimes I will just like listen to random podcasts.
Yeah.
But like when I'm running though, it's like a form of meditation for me. So like even if I'm listening to the music, but I'm not listening to the music, I'm
Yeah.
processing things like in my brain. And then when I'm listening to books, you can't process things when you listen to
Yeah,
books.
nah, yeah, it's or I mean, it's gonna be one or the other. You hear it, but you're not
Paying
capturing what it's saying, or you
attention.
just you just going, you skip through. You're like, oh, I finished chapter 7. I don't remember what it was about, but I'm done with chapter 7.
You're like, where's the recap?
Yeah, like I need that. Yeah. Now you mentioned Navy, like so how are you active? I mean, are you reserve active duty? How was that and how was that experience?
So I actually joined the Navy while I was in high school, but I had to graduate first, and then I
Mm.
was like also underage, and then because my parents weren't gonna sign for it, and
Yeah.
so like
Well, what made you join though? Like, I mean, were you in ROTC at the time, or you just felt independent and was like, man, forget this. I'm about to try to
it was a combination of both. I was in junior ROTC, and so like and then I also was like and I was taking Latin. Like how everyone's taking French and Spanish. I was taking Latin in high school.
Oh,
And so like and then so I was taking Latin, I joined junior ROTC, and then so like our Latin professor, he just used to like take us to a ton of like field trips like Princeton University, like real like the cool things. And then so long and short of it, I got accepted to a couple of schools. My dad wanted me to go to Seton Hall University, which was only 2 miles away from our house. And I told him I didn't want to go. And then so because I wanted to go to Lynchburg, Virginia with my other friends.
yeah.
And so when he said you can't go, and I'm like, cool, I'll just join the Navy. Because if you join the Navy,
That was an act
they
of
can't stop
rebellion.
you. So like I literally I skipped school, I took the ASVAB, and then my dad was like, "What school are you gonna go to?" I'm like, "I'm gonna join the Navy." They're like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "Yes, I am." And then so I did
Yeah, that was.
it.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have it. They are. Did they respect it after the fact, or they still look at you sideways to this day? You're like, "Nah."
They really respected it after the fact because they ended up, they flew to my boot camp and then they just like, so they were really happy. And it's actually one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.
Really?
But like, yeah, it was worth it. Like, and then when I was in high school, I was like, I was like into a scholar program. So like I spent like my incoming senior summer year, like, interning with the federal prosecutor's office.
Yeah.
So like they introduced us to like all of the three-letter agencies like the FBI's,
Yeah.
the CIA, DEA. So I hung out with all of those organizations. I spent a week like I spent a week in Seagirt, New Jersey. That's where the state police boot camp are. So we literally was in a 1 long week boot camp with the state police. So my parents, they drove there, like, to like, watch me graduate, like,
Yeah.
and then a couple of weeks later, we had like a mock trial at Seton Hall pre-law, because that's literally what I was supposed to go for. I was gonna go to law school.
Yeah.
And then so like, our team won. So it was like the best experience ever. That's when I knew like so like it was a great thing that I joined the Navy because like I learned so much, but it was even better because I feel like if I became a lawyer or if I had ended up going to Seton Hall where my dad told me to, I probably would have wasted a lot of money like a lot
Yeah.
of kids have done.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's always, I mean, not always, but that's a common thing, when you gotta, I always say you gotta go to grow. A
Yeah.
lot of people that stay close to home, stay in that comfort zone. There's so many distractions. It's so easy to not take it serious, in a sense, where you kind of flame out or don't necessarily do what you're supposed to be doing versus going also and being on your own. You're like, oh, this real.
To your point, I agree because there's so many of my church friends and like my old classmates, and they're quite stagnant. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that much. So like so I think it was the best decision I've ever made. I mean, there's like probably like quite a few of us that became like doctors and like
Yeah.
like lawyers, etc. But majority of them they became
Yeah, I'm
parents.
about to say the critical mass is it always turns out that way.
Yeah.
Was your high school like a regular public high school, or did you go to like a private school or something? 'Cause you seem like you had like a lot of opportunities, especially just be able to leave school and go do a Navy test or whatever.
So it was both. So so I lived in a very urban area, Irvington, New Jersey.
Uh-huh.
And so like my parents, like, that's why they said I would not last in the Navy. I wasn't gonna join because, they people considered me like, a nerd back then, right?
Yeah.
So I would not get into fights. I avoid everybody. So they didn't think I would like survive. And then so they sent me to Benedictine Academy for like my first year in high school. And I could not survive there. And then
Yeah.
they finally sent me to like, Irvington High, but because it was like a different mindset. Like it was an all-girls school. And by the time they were 15, there were like four of them pregnant.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm about to say- it's a reason why they had the all girls school. They gotta get them to escape something. They get
Oh,
you
but
out of this environment, you know.
and they
But
still managed to get pregnant.
yeah, I know. It's crazy. I mean, that's typically how it goes. You know, people want what they can't have in a sense. Like you sheltered. The preacher kid is always the worst kid in most times.
That's so true. That's so true. Because my old pastor, his son, one of his sons, he literally joined the gang. I was like probably like
You're
10,
like, you're like,
right?
what?
Yeah, he joined a gang. Someone shot someone and he took the fall for it. And he's supposed to spend 27 years in prison. I'm now 37. I'm sure he's like out now, or he's
Yeah.
probably not. I don't know what happened, but he literally threw his entire life away.
Yeah, no, I mean that's just the thing. It's like that's what happens. So I mean, even with raising, because I got three girls, three daughters. I mean, I
Yeah.
got all girls. So
How
I
old
try
are
not.
they?
Yeah, we're not like helicopter parents. We don't try to, we just try to be real with them, balance. Because I done seen too many overprotective. It don't work. Too loose, it don't work. So you just kind of keep it real, keep the balance, and kind of. I mean, not my personality. I don't sugarcoat anything anyway. So I just let them know. You ask me, you gonna get. I'm gonna just tell you the real, tell you the truth, and then we could discuss it later if you're not prepared or if you don't really understand what I'm saying. But I don't. Yeah, I just seen too many things go wrong by, like just having that overprotectiveness or those strict, being like overly strict in a sense. I know. I mean, but a lot of parents don't realize like once those kids get to middle school, you don't really they get those social groups and outside influences, but now social media and all that. They're like you really don't have any control. It just falls to the foundation that you set in the early years, and you kind of can nudge here and there, but a lot of parents don't like to think that they don't have control.
And then to your point, like I think my parents were helicopter parents when it came to me, but like they weren't so much with my siblings, but like my two kids, like my daughter, she's like in high school right now, and then like she's telling me like her and I were just like conversing like when I'm making dinner sometimes. And she was like, "Do you know what this kid did?" And I'm like, "What?" He was like, "Oh, they skip school and they just, go smoke like, vape
Yeah,
pens all the time." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's like the worst thing for you." But like the fact that she's opening up to me
that's
about
the
that, it
best
was
thing you can ask for as a parent. I mean that.
exactly. And then she say some of her friends they drink like, tequila. And I'm like, you know
You're like
what?
what?
And yeah. And then because like, they have access to all
Yeah,
of
they
that.
do.
Yeah. They say like the more affluent town you live in, the more access these kids have to like like drugs, like like cocaine and like all
All
the
of it.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we stay in Las Vegas, so our kids growing up in Vegas, so that's like Sodom and Gomorrah in some sense. Anything
Ve-
goes here, good and bad.
Vegas is awesome.
I love it. I mean, we love Vegas. Like, I mean, it's probably the best place that I've been. Especially residential. A lot of people, when you think of Vegas, you think of just a strip, but like the outside area it's so diverse and it's so new just because especially since pandemic, everybody's been moving here, so they just been building. And it's tax-free state, so you got all like the California culture, you got like Arizona, and I like Vegas is like a mix between Atlanta and LA to me, like just the
thing. Is
You
it?
know, like just that it's the LA vibe with the diversity of Atlanta and like that kind of just it's like both of them are entertainment capitals, but they're kind of mixed into with the gaming, with the casino. Like it's just all like a melting pot of like just it's just cool. I just love it.
I would never like so I didn't think there would be like a lot of like diversity in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean it really like even my youngest, so I got two 14-year-olds and a 9-year old. The oldest are they're twins, but they all will be 15. Well, the twins will be 15, the young will be 10, but all in August. But
Oh, guess what?
the twins is August 6th and 7th. They had two different birthdays, 11:55 and 12:05 at night.
That's so cool.
And then the youngest one is August 27th.
Wow, that's really cool. The reason I asked because my daughter, she turns 15 August 16th.
Oh, so yeah, the twins and your oldest daughter is the same age. How old is your youngest?
My son, he's 12. He'll be turning 13 October 14th.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah. So it's your daughter in ninth, well, is going to the 10th grade now?
She is, she
Yeah,
is.
so they're in the same boat, same class.
Oh my goodness, we're literally gonna have college kids in 3 years. Can
I
you
know
believe?
that's wild. Yeah. I mean that's great. Is does your daughter play sports or do your kids play sports?
Well, she's a track star. She
Okay.
runs cross
Yeah.
country. And then this year she says she wants to do basketball because one of her friends, she's doing cross country. She just got accepted to Brown.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, and then so because she's her like obviously her friends like the older girls,
Yeah.
and then because she's running like 5 minute miles, and I'm like good for her.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is a superstar.
She's a superstar.
Yeah, I mean, freshman in high school running 5 minute miles is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Do your kids know what school they're gonna go to yet?
No, they're not, I mean, but they're actively in the recruiting process because they're they play softball. That's their main sport. They play flag football as well, but softball is so they're going to an Oregon camp in 2 weeks.
Oregon camp, like to
Yeah.
play the Oregon?
Yeah, well, it's a camp. Yeah, so it's a camp. So, part of that recruiting process is going there. And then they have
Wow.
so yeah, we just came from a showcase that was in California last week that had multiple schools there that was talking to them and looking at them. But so they don't necessarily know where they're gonna go. They have like, they just know they want to go D1, go to like one of the power four, power three schools, SEC, something like that, UCLA. But
For
like, hey,
them.
you better get in the backyard and be starting doing putting in some more work.
For them. That's so cool. Like Oregon, I've never heard of that, but that's really cool. Oregon camp.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So most of the top universities they always have like camps so they can get athletes in to get it like their eyes on them. Start that. If anybody stand out, they start that recruiting process and stuff. But Oregon was one of the ones because last year they went to a couple of camps that had multiple teams, so they wanted to try one just like solely focused on one school just to see if they can get more interaction with the coaching staff and just different things like that.
You just taught me something today. So I'll definitely, obviously this summer won't count because she's gonna be going to like an academy. She wants to take like her geometry classes like, early right now.
Yeah.
But like next year, I just learned something from you. I want to do the same thing too, like, put her to like, the camps and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I mean, does she travel like for the cross country, or is it more local, or does she go to like some of these meets that's like nationals and all these different things?
It's been local. The only one that she travels in is she's in robotics too, because
Oh,
robotics takes like pretty much the first, I guess, 2 semesters.
yeah,
Like, well, it takes majority of her time. So like, so she travels a lot for that. But I feel like robotics, like cool, like, they're nerds and stuff, but you need you
yeah.
need to be an
Some balance,
athlete.
get some balance in there.
Yeah,
Has she
yeah.
traveled to the robotics competition or thing out in Vegas? Because they have a big one here.
Not yet.
Oh,
No.
okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's high school age or not, but I mean, I'm pretty sure it probably is, or they have some section of it. But it's like a big robotics event that they have. They had like this own dedicated arena for like the battle bots and just different like drone racing and different things out here. So that'd be pretty cool.
That is really cool. I'm gonna look into that for her actually. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. No, but so no, no, so we got to get back onto the so what's the theory on the ghost and aliens being the same? Because
Okay.
I've heard mo well, I always prescribe to the idea that aliens are, you know, like really humans, advanced civilizations or advanced past, ancient civilizations that left, that kind of came back. Not say they came back, but that's they are us really in a sense, like that we are aliens to this world. And it was one movie, I think it was like 65 million, or I don't know, it had dinosaurs in it. Then
Oh,
really
I know what you're talking
what caused the
about.
extinction was, humans coming to the
Yes, 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 I remember. I
yeah,
think I might watch that tonight again with the with that guy, Adam
yeah,
something.
Adam Driver or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
You
always
know
call
he's
him
a Navy
Kyle.
vet.
What's that?
You know he's a Navy veteran.
No, I didn't know he was actually, yeah, really.
Yeah.
Nah, he's a good actor too, though. But no, that was a real good movie. But that whole concept kind of it put words into the thoughts that I had. It kind of like formalized it and kind of they made it cinematic and dramatic for TV. But the underlying theme, I was like, that can. But I guess like, what's the ghost and the alien? Is it something similar to that, or is it like a lot totally something different, or what?
Okay, so hear me out.
Oh, she said, okay, yeah.
Okay. So like I believe if there's ghosts, there's God, and then there's also the devil, right? So
Hmm.
like so if you believe in all of that, you also have to believe in okay. So like there's stories about like whenever they see like the UFOs, they're always coming from the ocean, and then they
Yeah,
go back in, and then the ocean is literally like the most, aside from the Amazon and the ocean is the most two undiscovered. We can't like it's extremely difficult for us to
yeah.
discover like parts of it. So like I'd heard stories about people living underwater,
Hmm.
and then there's also ancient like civilizations like under us, right? And
Yeah,
then there's like also like a scientific study that came out a couple of months ago where we actually have like under I do forgot like from where, but I know it from New Jersey, under New Jersey, and I'd say up to Maine. There's like literally fresh water that's underneath the ocean, right?
yeah,
um that can pretty much help like there's fresh water under the ocean. The reason I'm going by that is because I'm actually a huge fan of like horror movies. And if you name it, I've probably seen it. Like
yeah.
I'm telling you. And then there's a movie that came out that's called Disclosure. I didn't go see that one yet. It's about aliens, right?
Did it come out yet? I remember. Would it come out last week?
I think so.
Okay,
It
no,
did come
I
out.
gotta go see it too. Yeah, I need to go see it.
I think I'm
Cause,
gonna go
'cause
see
that's
it too.
what Stephen King's latest not Stephen King,
Steven Spielberg or
Steven
something.
Spielberg. Yeah, yeah, that's his latest movie, yeah.
The, so so like although I don't have social media, not public ones at least, I have LinkedIn, and then I have like ghost accounts because
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
don't post anything.
yeah.
Yeah. And then
Ghost
like
account. You are the ghost, Ruth.
so like there's this girl that came up. She started saying like anybody who's like into religion or like like psychics and all these other people who like overthinkers and stuff, you should go watch Disclosure, because the way they're talking, like when the lady was like she's who I'm talking about, that girl, the main actress, she was saying all those weird things, she was speaking in tongue
Yeah. The
like
reporter or whatever it was or something. Yeah.
yes, 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 and then there was only one person that can understand her, it was like another guy.
Yeah.
And then there's also sightings like the Ed Lorraine's, like how they have all these scary movies, and then they also have like the exorcisms, like real life exorcisms, like from Germany in the 80s. That's what the story of Emily Rose, that's literally
Yeah.
her actual story, and then she unfortunately she passed, right? So how come we can see, so only if certain people can see the ghosts and only if certain people can see aliens, but they always say when they're coming down, when they're coming, from the ocean. And then when ghosts and stuff were coming, they're usually cold as hell, right?
Yeah.
So the reason I think they're the same people is that according to some studies that came out, like, when couple of people that were talking about it last week, they said they're like future civilizations that's living, and then they apparently the future civilization, I guess something that happened, our future civilization, they moved under the under earth, and then when they move under earth because of all the darkness, that's why they became all disfigured and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how ghosts look though when they come up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I mean, technically, yeah.
they look like very weird entities. Like, they call them, I believe demons, ghosts, aliens, they're all the same thing.
All the same. Yeah. Like, I mean, you was talking about the underwater stuff. It's just like all the secrets and the things you be hearing about coming out of Antarctica. I mean, and Antarctica is like a big point of conspiracy dialogue. I mean, I love all of that. So I mean, I'll be because it ties into something in some way, and just mixing that fantastical with the religious, with the scientific, with the just the
If if you want to
folklore.
if you want to go deeper in terms of God, like I don't even think aliens or ghosts or aliens. I honestly think they're angels.
Yeah,
When God separated with Lucifer, one third of the angels
one third
came
of it
down,
came down. Yeah,
and then they live under earth, right?
yeah.
Telling you, like, I honestly think aliens are angels, like the bad angels.
And they could be, but how would that explain like the little flying apparatuses? Is that just like a smoke and mirror illusions, or is that actually a means of transport, or what would you say for that one? Like, because
It,
I know like a lot of I haven't heard it to the combine putting angels and ghosts together, but I have like you know them people or past civilizations or future civilization going under Earth or I guess it's not under every, it's in more into the center of Earth or more so under the surface. But and then I have like some people believe like ghosts are like what is it like projections of those people like and I guess more not in a holographic sense but more of like an extension. I don't know, you like Doctor Strange. You seen Doctor Strange like the movie that
yeah,
how he was kind of like projecting himself in many different ways where they can kind of get in and get out or not be seen fairly quickly by just kind of just cutting off versus being an actual physical person having to run and hide and do things. You can just kind of dissolve, cut what is it? Opacity or something, make it more transparent. So, but I haven't heard the one combining them, but yeah, so I guess what would be your thoughts with that? Like with the UFOs and the different machinery that's been seen or connected to them.
I think everything's more religious than we think. Very spiritual. I feel like when people go to hell, you know, they
Yeah.
they probably like, you know, I mean, that's a really good one. I never thought about it. I didn't get that far, but I honestly think because, like, they're literally angels, they're literally as smart as Jesus and the other angels, right? They just were
Yeah.
rebellious people. And then because they were rebellious, I believe they do have, like, another world down there, but it's not for us for sure. And then they built stuff like that to trick us because in the Bible it says God, like the devil likes to trick humans.
Yeah.
So like they probably built we're not saying like those people were like, idiots, right? I mean, they're not
No, it definitely.
angels. Yeah. But, I believe they built they built their own crafts so
Yeah.
they could fly out and fly back down because maybe the water, because they're angels, maybe because of the pressure, it's impossible for them to like literally fly up. And then why I don't think they would want people to see angels flying up, at least like,
Yeah.
at least yet
You
and
talking
stuff.
about like just in the physical form, like just
Yeah.
flying.
Yeah, like, because
Yeah.
they say what angels in the Bible they have like six wings or something. So like, because it's like two are supposed to have to help them kneel and pray. My parents are very religious. Two to cover their eyes because they're never allowed to see God either,
Mm.
even if they're angels. And then the other two is just like like for them to like fly. So
Yeah,
that's why
to
they kind of have
move.
like
Yeah.
yeah. But like I honestly think the bad angels are like the legit aliens and ghosts that people are talking about.
That-
And that's how they're also able to like, come into and come into human form or like, well, I mean, I've never been possessed. Like, so like I don't know what happens, like, what goes into like, the people's mindset, but
Yeah.
or how they see the things, but we can't, like, so
No, I mean, that's cool. I mean, like that one, but I always like the simulation theory is always good. You see, especially with AI coming, like just getting bigger and bigger, more people getting exposed to it. A lot of people are leaning into, man, everything's a simulation. We living in a simulation, like
Mhm.
like it's like fractals, like we just inside of another simulation that's inside of another simulation that's inside of another simulation. So like a lot of people, um, so with that, like when you think about, hey, you got one third of fallen angels, like what does that really mean? Are they like actual physical like me and you, or is if they're still kind of interacting with us, is heaven, or where the other two-thirds in God sit, is that a tangible place, or is that more kind of spirit? So you start getting into those different things, which is all you can go down many rabbit holes on this.
I we because God said we were made in his image,
Mhm.
I'm gonna assume the angels were too. And then
Yeah,
that's why I'm gonna assume that's how they're able to easily possess humans.
yeah,
And then like going back to like, the biblical era, like, it was Eve was tricked by like, the Satan, right? So
yeah.
I guess he's gonna continue doing that, and he's been doing that for like millions of
Yeah.
years, right?
For all of existence.
Literally. And then so like I think I think demons walk amongst us just like,
Yeah,
and because God says they were made in we're made in his image. So I guess we
yeah.
literally look like those guys too.
I mean, the possession thing is real plausible just because of, I mean, like you say, like Lucifer was the god of music, the most beautiful and the god of music. And I mean, in the most possessing, or the easiest way you can possess people is through like, sound, like harmonics, like through, I mean, that's why they got the little sound bath things, and the little thing to bring people out of trance and different things. And then what captivates people most is just beauty of things. Like you're a nature person, you go out to a field, you see flowers, you see different things, and it's just like kind of puts you in a trance. Or you see, attractive person, you kind of just freeze for a minute. So like those are all forms of possession, or being in a sense, like metaphorically or whatnot. But you definitely can kind of start putting two and two together. Like like you start, and then you just think about like some of the music that's out today, and like some of the tones and the frequencies that they're played at, and the words that are used that can, it's like, damn, that rap music, or damn, all these different things that that people kind of zone out. Like, I don't know what came into me. That's like that's more than a figure of speech. Yeah, it's something that actually might actually came into you, caused you to act against your natural will or your natural spirit.
I think the Catholics, like the Vatican, they know exactly what's going
Mm.
on, and they're never gonna tell us because, like, if you've seen the Pope's exorcist, like, there was literally a chief Pope exorcist, like, what do you call the CPO, Chief Pope?
Yeah, so yeah.
No, the Chief yeah, whatever what he's called, like, that's what who he was really called at, and he really like, I don't think the Vatican will lie. Like, this dude literally was expelling, like, demons out of people. And then, like, in 1988, like, we weren't, like, we were probably just born or whatever. But that girl, like it was not even it was not even in America. It was literally in Germany. And then you could see actually actual clips of it. And if you see her face was like all distorted.
Yeah.
She lost, like, I think I'm a skinny person. Like, she was like, she was literally skin and bones, like,
And like it
right?
was like in a matter of like days or something, wasn't it? It was something crazy. It wasn't like a long time where she lost all of that.
In a matter of days. And then it took over her body within months. And then like it's when it fully took over her body, and then within months she was dead. There was
Yeah, it
nothing
was.
you could do about it.
And it's
Like
funny because I mean, like you say, like the Catholic Church and all they hide they got so much stuff hidden that you can't even access that library that they have. Like and I mean, just speaking of exorcists, you never heard of a Baptist exorcist. You know, they always been Catholic. It's always Catholic. Anytime you see the depictions of
oh, true.
you
Holy
never seen any other religious form performing exorcisms or doing anything like this. It's always the Catholic, you know. They got the beads, they got the rosaries, and doing the little the priest with the white. It's no other religion.
that does that. And don't forget they have their own army.
Yeah, yeah, I guess that's crazy. Like they have their
Yeah.
own private little military force.
But like I definitely believe it. And then don't forget about the sidekicks. So how can some people see things and other people can't? So
Yeah,
like, and then in the movie Disclosure, it literally was that that guy understood her, but she was literally speaking in tongues. And I'm like, she's
yeah,
not an alien. Okay, there's a movie that came out. Have you ever heard of The Back Room?
yeah, yeah. The back, yeah. We were supposed to go see it last or 2 weeks ago, but because my daughter, she loves horror movies, and my sister, I mean, I grew up on horror movies too, but like sci-fi, anything that's kind of like those thrillers or what is it, the mind benders, just like all those different things. I haven't seen it, but I have looked into it, like the back because it has the one British actor that's really good. Like he's like one of the modern day goats in it. So I wanted to see. I was like, if he's doing this movie,
Yeah, the
I need to go see it. And the
my
director's only like 20 years old, the one that
yeah,
directed it.
very young, very young. Because
Yeah.
my son watches it on YouTube all the time, and then so he was like, "Can we go on a date? Can we go on on a date to go watch this?" So like on the opening night, we went to see it, and I'm not gonna tell you like what happens in the movie at all, but how it ties in like with aliens and ghosts and
Yeah.
stuff. So like the back room, pretty much what scientists believe that it's like basically a continuous room, right? So like it's literally like rooms after rooms after rooms. It just never ends, like
Yeah.
And when so the concept of it is that, and you could tell me when you see it, when you pass the memory you have of you is literally what stores in that room. Your most profound
Mm.
memory is what's literally gonna be in that room. So if I love like, so if I love running and literally that's not a good example for like for okay, for one of the back rooms, for example, this woman's house was torn down, right? And that was the
Mm.
house she grew up on, so much sentimental value into it, and her house was torn down. But after she passed, the room that you saw, and then that's how the movie ended, was her house, like
Yeah.
torn down. So like, so all those rooms are literally memories of all the people who passed. So like, and it was like basically infinite, right? And then that's how I see that's how I think like aliens and like ghosts and stuff, it's tied into like when you pass, where do you go?
Yeah.
So like,
Mm.
and then like that's debatable. Like, is there a heaven? And I mean, I guess there will be, like, if there's a hell, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I think demons or aliens. And I
Yeah.
literally told my one of my colleagues, that one of my the partners in the business, I'm like, we were just like chatting about random stuff, and I'm like, bro, I think demons are legit aliens. It doesn't make sense.
No, that's funny. Now I'm actually currently reading. It's two books, but I finished one. It was called Journey of the Souls, and then the second part of it is called Destination of Souls, and it basically talk about this one doctor who was a hypnosis or hypnotherapist, but mainly with like like regression for like death and past experiences and stuff. And it kind of sounds similar to the back rooms, except for, it wasn't really actual rooms. It's just that each person has like soul energy that has some kind of like karmatic cycle that they have to, you know, atone for, or they're trying to learn and get, almost like training the LLM, just putting it in AI terms. It's like, it's going through constant, retraining and fine tuning process by going into different lives and different situations. But they have a part where, where you die, it wasn't necessarily heaven, but it's just like a place where all like the soul energies go, and each soul has like a group, a cluster of, other souls that they maybe come in contact with on Earth. But they have like a life review of different lives where they can go and see those, like kind of similar to what you was mentioning with those rooms, like you can see like those most profound moments, or you can see what the lessons that they were supposed to get, if they did or they didn't, but for each individual, it didn't have to be just that person. Then you had like guides and different stuff. But it's a pretty interesting book. And one of my friends recommended it, so like always, all that stuff I don't really take for like happenstance or coincidence. So I just kind of I go through it and kind of piece it together, connect dots. Like how does this relate to this? How does this relate to this? Like I can see. So it's pretty interesting. So you was bringing that up. So now that makes me want to go see Backrooms even more after like reading this book.
Obviously, I'm actually gonna read the book too because like all religions, right? Like if you look into like, the I forgot which religion. There's a lot of religions that believe in reincarnation.
Mhm.
So like, so to your point, and based on that book, right? So you go somewhere and then you review your life, and then from what I've heard, like based on how you lived, if you lived like, like a terrible person, when you do go back, you're gonna have a terrible life, right? And like, whatever you were is what you're gonna become, like, and like and then so they say like so I there's people that says like, unfortunately, if you see someone that's born like, blind or like,
Yeah.
or something terrible, like they're born with like certain deficiencies. And it's like, okay, what did that soul do in
Yeah,
a prior life to end up in that person's like, body? Because
maybe.
we're all like pretty much, like you said, energies, right?
Yeah.
Energies cannot die, right? Like, energies cannot be destroyed. So like, so where does that energy go?
Yeah, it has to be recycled in some kind of way, in a sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so definitely, yeah, I'll send you the book. I mean, it's pretty interesting. Like whether you believe it or not, it's just kind of still just hearing those concepts and hearing just those thoughts of how people, you know, break, and then just the whole like the hypnotherapy piece of it is pretty interesting. Just know that's such
Interesting.
a niche area.
Have you ever had a deja vu before?
I have them all the time, actually, but
So how do
that
you
that's the
explain
weirdest thing. I mean, it's like so weird. It's like.
exactly? And have you ever had sleep paralysis before?
I haven't had, I don't, not that I know of. I don't know. I may not know to classify it as it, but I would say right now, I don't think I've had sleep paralysis, but I've, I,
I've had
I know people that have had it.
I've had sleep paralysis several times, and I went on every AI, and everybody that ever had sleep paralysis, they described the exact same thing we described. And then like, and if let's go back to the aliens and demons again, right? Um, so like the last time I had like, a sleep paralysis, I was like literally on my bed, and I work very long hours, right? So I'm like, could be delusion too, right? So it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm finally gonna lay in bed, and then I lay in bed. I'm asleep, but I don't know if I'm asleep or not because like I see something like literally in front of me, like dark entity, just like
Yeah,
staring. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm trying to speak. I can't speak, like, but I could hear myself speaking, but I'm like speaking in like, whatever. But I'm like speaking like in slur, right? And then so, but like every time I see that, like, I immediately like I would start praying or like I start saying Psalms 23, but you could literally see the thing staring at you, but you cannot move. You can't do
yeah,
anything. And I'm like, you can't move your body, period. And after a while you can move again. And then like the last time that happened to me, I couldn't move, I couldn't speak, but I saw myself trying to speak. And then like, when the thing left and then I just immediately started speaking and then boom, my eyes were awake.
yeah. That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the closest thing I had to that was, You know, I mean, you know how like in dreams you try to run, it feel like you're running in quicksand or your
Yeah.
feet just move, you're not really going nowhere. It's like you're floating with no gravity. Like it was certain situations where I needed to get out of a I mean, you know, I don't really but say like something was coming toward me, but I physically couldn't move. You know, I'm like, I'm trying, I know I need to. I'm trying to do, I'm trying to speak, I'm trying to yell. But I mean, I know I'm asleep though. It wasn't like I didn't know if I was or wasn't because it was clearly like in a whole nother alternate type of reality in a sense. But when I finally do, like it's like when I get up, I'm like physically strained. I'm like out of breath. And like I'm just kind of like looking around. It's almost like somebody was holding me down. I snapped up. I'm like, man, that I was like, yeah, that was crazy.
It makes zero sense that so there's billions of us on Earth, and then when we're telling about our experience, it's always the same thing,
Yeah,
right?
it's always, yeah. Like it's so
The
linked or
demons,
connected. Yeah, like it's
it's those falling angels or aliens and ghosts.
messing with us, man. Now, now your name, Ruthzar Casseus, like is that like Haitian roots or like what's the is it Haitian or like what's the roots of it or your parents or
So I am Haitian. My parents, they all gave us like, little weird names and stuff. So like my name, like, so Cassius, when I was serving, I did like, the background of it.
Mhm.
So like my dad's last name is Latin, and then my mother's is French, hers is Louis. And then, but like my name, like I asked them why they, why they gave me that name. And then like, they just said it was like, they thought about it. And it was a great name. And I think I Googled it. I think there's a couple of other people with that name, but like the meaning of it, it's actually I found two meanings. Ruthzar is either uh Russian and Jew, or Russian and Hebrew, or it's Hebrew and Persian.
Mm.
And so like yeah, so like my name is not even Creole or Haitian. It's like it's I believe it's much more closer to like Hebrew and Persian than Hebrew
Yeah.
and Russian.
Mm,
So
that's funny.
because Czar means king, and then like
Yeah.
but in Persian Czar means I forgot what Czar mean, but it's like it sounds much more similar to what I would uh like symbolize myself. I think it means humble or like beauty or something, but I always had the Russian and Hebrew meaning until I found the Russian and Persian meaning, I think like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Have you been to Haiti or have you been back like do you go regularly or
So I was born in Haiti. I We immigrated here when I was like 7 turning 8,
oh,
and
okay.
I've never been back.
You haven't
But
been back?
my siblings go, like, my parents, they have like little properties, like, they're near the beach, so they go
Yeah.
like, once a year, but they rent them out, like, and stuff like so I was supposed to go like a year ago, and I didn't go when there was like the big earthquake, actually, because the Navy knew I was Haitian.
Yeah.
But I was on vacation. They wanted me to fly back to California because they were gonna fly us to Haiti. So you could actually, so pretty much all the Haitians that were like on any aircraft carrier, they were gonna send them to Haiti, but I was on vacation when they called me.
Uh,
But like, yeah, that would have been my second experience in Haiti for probably the worst reasons ever,
yeah.
right? But
Yeah, I'm not the best of turns, but
yes.
now, how much of like those beliefs do you think come from the background, like that Creole background? Because Creole has a real strong like faith and religious, and you start getting into like more of the supernatural type of things too, and with the Creole as well. Are your parents like that as well, or are they more strictly religious texts?
So my mom and my dad, like, so we're 7-day Adventists, so like we
Mhm.
observe the Sabbath, but everybody else in both of my parents' family are Catholics.
Yeah,
And then literally Catholicism is so what I learned, like voodoo, like, voodoo came from like Africa. So like,
yeah,
the Africans brought it like, to the Americas, Haiti, and like all surrounding areas as slaves, because they didn't want to look weird, like, in front of like, the Europeans when they were practicing it. So how they practice voodoo is that they would use uh saints, right? Like, so like Saint Michael, right? Saint
Yeah.
Michael is literally someone's like, ancestor, but it's not really Saint Michael that they're praying to. You don't know who they're
Yeah.
praying to. And then like, like Saint Philomena, like, whoever, right? And then so they would use Catholic, I guess, saints, but they're not really praying to the Catholics, they're praying to their ancestors. So like, so all the ancestors that passed, they prayed to them. And ironically, it's so funny you say that. There's like when I was like, on TikTok, there was like, they were talking about like, Papu's ex-girlfriend, whatever, Papu's
Yeah,
girlfriend.
Remy Ma.
No, not Remy Ma, the ugly one.
Oh, Shields, Clarissa. Well,
Yeah,
no,
she's
it's
such
the
a
one.
bad person, Clarissa Shields.
Yeah,
She wants to fight everyone. She wants to fight men. She
yeah,
wants
yeah.
to fight
She be
women.
trying everybody. I mean, that's because she can. That's because she can. So she just be.
The last one I saw, she wanted to fight Cameron. Cameron was like, "No, sir, I will not fight you." But like, so some lady was talking about Clarissa Shields on how she needs to like, she was like, the lady, they're still married. No matter how you look at it, you're a
Yeah.
mistress until they sign the papers, right? And then she was like, don't mind me if I'm making 2 cup of coffee. And then that's an American woman. She's like, don't mind me if I'm making 2 cup of coffee. Those two are for my ancestors. And I'm like, interesting. And then it was like a similar thing, similar stories that I hear on social media a lot. It's from like European people, like, and I forgot which country, like, in Europe, but like, what I'm trying to tell you is that basically uh I used to think Haitians were the ones that were doing voodoo all the time. And I also used to think voodoo was like, the worst thing on earth. And then it turns out it's actually not bad. It's bad people that
Yeah.
turns things because like and that turns things that can do terrible things to you, like just like guns, like
Yeah, I'm about to say just like any like weapon and guns, it's how it's the user, not the actual tool or whatever it is.
yes. So that's why. And then that's because of what I've learned from, because I got super, I'm not gonna lie, like I got super curious a couple of years ago about that religion. And then so I've been going the rabbit holes like TikToks. So I hear a whole bunch of like, ghost stories, like,
Yeah.
about various cultures. And because of the fact that voodoo, they utilizes nature. So like you could like they use like like sage for example,
Yeah,
right?
like sage breaking stick like the sticks and like just yeah.
So if you like put sage around your house, bad energies, like whatever it will
Supposed to
come.
cast them out.
Yeah, like cinnamon is supposed to bring in money, like literally. So like any natural herb that like that you can find, like on anywhere, like pretty much anywhere you could practice like voodoo with it. And then so like these people when they're dancing, to your point, right? Not these people, forgive me, God. Like the people when they're dancing, right? Like they use like the stuff that you saying and like all sorts of stuff
Yeah.
because they're convoking like like their ancestors, right? So my question is like, when I was like, asking my dad and I heard some crazy stories, like, like, and they're my parents. I'm like, I'm pretty sure my parents are not gonna lie to me. So my question to my parents is like, how do these people know they're talking to their ancestors?
Mhm.
Like, what if they're demons?
Yeah.
So like, and then so that's where I get to the point where I'm like, okay, so these people they have all these, they can they can do all these things to people, like, allegedly, and like they can take your energy, and I'm like, the only way you could do that is if you have powers, and then the only way you could get powers is if you're literally messing with the devil, because God says you should not practice like those type of like religion because it's considered blasphemy, right? Because like you trying to get superpowers, trying to do stuff with people, to people. And then I mean there are people who use like voodoo to do light work, right, to bring luck to themselves, like
Yeah.
so like whatever. That's why about the cinnamon thing, right? Or like but the green lentils. So like I learned about like green lentils every year you put like you just throw a couple of them like over your head, like around your house, so you'll never have money problems. I learned that from the Italians.
Yeah.
So like,
I'm about to say, and this just like American black culture has like black eyed peas. Like every New Year's, you make black eyed peas or eat them, or you just have a bag and you just kind of sprinkle them around. So it seems like it permeates multiple cultures in a sense, in just different ways that some
multiple
people maybe call like superstitions, or they might call traditions. They just change the name and change the item, and it
if
to keep
if
it
I may
alive.
be if I may be honest with you, one of our colleagues in the industry, his mother literally went to, they're from the New Orleans, right? Louisiana.
Yeah,
His mother literally went to Brazil to literally practice Santeria. And Santeria is pretty much voodoo, like
really.
just in Spanish. And then she went there, she practiced it, and so they call her like, voodoo priest. And then like that's why I mean, what is it, Madam, she was the most popular one, everybody, Madam,
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I can't. For
because
some reason, I want to say like Mademoiselle or something like. But
something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because she became fascinated with that woman because she's from NOLA, and then she wanted to actually write like do a documentary on her, and it didn't happen. I'm like that's a very affluent family by the
yeah,
way. And then so she literally spent 2 years in Brazil learning how to do light work and stuff.
yeah.
So that's why I think angels or aliens, those falling angels or literally demons that take many forms, whether ghost or whatever, and then they're just doing all the things that God said to not do. They're doing it. They're helping humans to do it.
Yeah. Like we gonna get it. We gonna get it done one way or another. Because it's
Where-
always gonna be somebody that's gonna want to do
Yeah.
it, take advantage.
Yes. Yes.
In that kind of
So
like that selfish nature.
it so like the only reason I got super curious too, because like so one of my buddies, he actually works for FINRA, like we were in church, and mind you, we go to 70 Adventists, so we observe the Sabbath and stuff. He was possessed in the church, and we were like 14 years old. They just didn't want to we like the adults are in the main church, and then the kids were like on the church upstairs because
Yeah,
because it's a French speaking church, and the kids we speak English, right? So we had like the youth pastor, and then like the main pastor. The kid was possessed, and then they had him in the main church, and they would not let any of us in there. And then my dad told me, said like this kid was literally saying things that he should not know about other people, including my dad.
yeah. Did they ever figure out like how or what or why? Like it just
My dad never like no, he never literally told us like everything else, but he was like,
yeah,
yeah, there was a kid that's possessing the church. I won't say his name, but he's killing it. He lives in DC, and then like he literally works for FINRA as we speak.
really, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And dang, yeah. So that was years ago too.
Yeah. Literally, that was like what in the early 2000s.
Yeah. No, that's wow.
Yeah. But
That's
yeah.
good. Well, all right, so yeah, I'm on we can head to the wrap. I know I told you it's like 45, 60 minutes. We be talking all day because
Yeah,
it's right
yes,
up my
yes.
alley, I mean like but I
I
always
was
tell people, I say the podcast is just it's like it's just the injury. We don't need to have a podcast to chop it up and to, 'cause I always like just keeping like-minded people around, good conversation, sharing ideas. So
yes,
whenever I do go see Disclosure, I'll send you a text and like, oh, I saw it. You can probably talk about whatever that was about, see what that's going. But we can start with the last three questions. That's the wrap-up questions.
perfect.
So, well, I do have one more. You got the Phoenix in the back. So it's for your company Zero Leak, right? So tell me or tell us more about like the whole what the Phoenix represent with Zero Leak and kind of like what Zero Leak is doing.
So, so Zeraleak, we're a compliance and data privacy serve platform where we pretty much help like small and medium-sized businesses, executives and their employees stay compliant. But the main point of staying compliant is pretty much removing all of your personal information offline.
Yeah.
So like in terms of that, what I mean is that if I were to like, Google you right now, and I want to find out everything about you, there's about 1,300 websites that will give me every single addresses you ever lived at, even like your current ones. And then and so like so long and short of it, like a year ago, it was over a year actually. Bless you, by the way.
Yeah.
Uh, it was over like 2 years ago. Like, someone started stalking me, and then last year, I felt like enough was enough, and then so because like she even said, "Oh, I know where you live." She gave me exactly where I was living, my current address. And then
Yeah, that's
that's crazy. And I'm a single mom of two. I mean, I live in a good town, like nothing would have happened to me, but like, I'm a small woman with two little kids. So like, and then so like I Googled and I saw there were other privacy platforms out there. And then I felt as if like, obviously uh there could be more that should be done because they were servicing other people. And then I mean they were servicing like more of the enterprises and in consumers. But if you look at it, like 40% of all the attacks that takes place, like it usually attacks small and medium-sized businesses, and it takes 6.5 months for small and medium-sized business to know that they've been hacked.
yeah.
And so so I built the platform around it to where I use uh like tokens, like digital apoptosis, where I provide like each employee, if they're chatting with vendors, like with different aliases. So if Microsoft, which could be their vendor, gets hacked, like we'll immediately know because it's a token. You're gonna flag the token, right? And so that I literally built it just to prevent bad actors from finding like, good people like us. And even like last year, last May, this guy, he printed out like dozens of lawmakers' information online, and it only cost by there $1, by the way. You could do all
Yeah,
of that
that's
for a
crazy.
dollar and 49 cents. And he purchased like all of those lawmakers information on the line, and those are senators. And he successfully gunned down two of them, like, and then let's not forget about the girl who found Rihanna's info
Yeah.
and was literally shooting Rihanna's house. And I'm like, the mental health issue in the world is like so terrible. I don't think people should have access to people's information. And then you even see people doxing people, like whether or not the person deserves it, you should not, be exposing people's life like,
Yeah.
like that. And then so I see cybersecurity and data privacy as being continuous. It'll never end. And as a matter of fact, it's going to continue like, growing and evolving, especially when quantum
Oh
cryptography,
yeah.
like, all of that
That,
is
that
like
that introduces a whole nother element to thing.
exactly. And then so I believe we're gonna be more vulnerable. So the Phoenix pretty much means that, like, because of the fact that uh like cybersecurity privacy is never ending. Phoenix, to me, a phoenix is a bird, like it never dies, right? So like it always rises to the ashes. So like I guess that's the symbolic. Well, and then symbolically, and then I'm not saying I'll never die, but like, the phoenix, to me, I see it as like, we've all been through like a lot of things like
Yeah.
hardships and trials, and to me, no matter what I've been through, I always find a way out. So
Yeah.
like, so it's a reminder of that, like
No, that's good.
cybersecurity, privacy, and myself.
No, that's good. Now, is it strictly for small, medium business, or can the general consumer individual, is it built for them as well, or is it mainly for the businesses right now?
I wanted to do it like, for consumers, you know, when you
Yeah.
talk to investors
Yeah, yeah, I say you gotta get the company up and running first.
first, right? So I decided like, I would just sell it as a employee benefit in terms of the data privacy removal to the SMBs for their employees. Because if your employee gets hacked and they find out exactly where the person works at, your
Yeah.
company's gonna go under too, right?
I mean, most of the back doors come from a single individual or account or something that they did they shouldn't have done. So, you know, you
Exactly.
indirectly protecting the individuals anyway.
Yes, yes, yes.
from their own self too, and from bad actors.
Yes, 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 yes. But you should like I'd love for you to use it. Like,
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
yeah. I'll send it over to you and then you'll get all your stuff removed and you'll continue doing it continuously so you don't have to keep asking.
Yeah, no, definitely. All right, so yeah, no, I wanted to get that in before we wrapped it up. Just because, yeah, I think the last 4 or 5 people I've interviewed have been more like entrepreneurs. So I'm just gonna kind of bundle this up into like an entrepreneurial series.
So
So I
cool.
wanted to make sure that we had time to for you to kind of have a platform to discuss what it was and then kind of introduce it to a crowd that may not be exposed to it. Like you said, you got ghost accounts on social media, so not everybody thumbing through LinkedIn, the algorithm don't really algorithm like it used to.
No, no. It in the bed. Like even my one of my phone numbers, my dad, whenever he answers, he say, "What's up, nobody?" Like
Yeah,
literally my ghost accounts, they're called nobody, and then with numbers and stuff around them, so you're not gonna find anything.
yeah.
And like, and so like yeah, like my account's literally called nobody. Like my
Yeah.
phone numbers,
Did
and I'm
you
like,
did
fuck.
you watch Game of Thrones?
I did. I stopped because it got too violent for me, and then I
Uh,
watched the last season.
it got too violent, man. The first one kids was it was started off.
There was some parts I just couldn't take anymore. I'm like,
Uh, but did you get to the part where it's like a man has no name, where Arya Stark was? It was a guy in there. He worked at like some religious piece, but his name. Well, he didn't have a name. He was just known as a guy has no name. That you'd be like the woman has no name, and
so
he wore
cool.
like multiple faces. He would just kind of just blend into the crowd. It's kind of like just anonymous, like
The I don't remember that part, but where I got the name Nobody from, do you remember like, like the Odyssey and like in Homer's old poem, The Odyssey, and then they have
yeah,
the like Odysseus pretty much when he got to the island where there were where the Cyclops were, and then the
yeah.
Cyclops was eating all of his guys. So when the Cyclops asked Odysseus, "What's my name?" and he said, "My name is Nobody." And then when they blinded the Cyclops, and then so he was like, "Father, Father, nobody has blinded me." So like, I
Yeah, the
kept
irony, the parable in that.
yeah,
That's another movie that's coming out soon. That's gonna be fire.
it's gonna be so good. Like the very, very old one, I think all of us had to watch it in grade
Yeah,
school because like the poem is so freaking long.
yeah,
Like,
it is.
yeah,
I mean,
so
it's really not a poem. It's really like a novel. Like
a novel, you're right. The Iliad and the Odyssey.
yeah,
Yeah. I guess the one that's I guess I'm thinking of the poem is Dante's Inferno the poem then? Like I'm thinking there
yeah,
one.
yeah. The Dante one is a poem.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so here go the three questions. The one is, what is ultimate success or fulfillment for you, like as of today? I know it's like one of those moving goalposts they say if you're the same person that you are at 30 that you was at 20, you wasted 10 years. So like 37-year-old Ruth, like what's like ultimate success or fulfillment for you, like right now?
My ultimate fulfillment, like how I feel like right now.
Yeah, like what would give you the most fulfillment or make you feel like mama, I made it type of feeling where you just kind of content, in a sense. You never want to be content, but what would give you that feeling of peace, contentment, or like
I
I'm
think
good?
when we exit ZL, that will be very cool. But to your point though, I felt really proud of myself. Like, I have a finance background. I went to school for biology and my master's was in human capital management. Although it took me like over a year, like a year and a half, but like I was able to keep all of my equity because I taught myself how to really code and I built Zero League from end to end by myself. 288,000 lines.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
then but in the process I was also going to I decided to start taking cybersecurity classes. I took some back in the last summer, and I'm taking some now. So like I feel very accomplished for the simple fact that and it wasn't vibe coding. You can't vibe code cyber. Like, I feel very content and proud that I built the platform. And what's even better is that after actually finalize everything and I'm like, I started redoing the deck like a couple of days ago. I pulled like the entire scope out again and I'm like, what actually did we like, that's
Yeah.
very functional. And then so like when I pulled the scope and then I sent it to Claude and I'm like, here's my current deck. And then here's like what's actually functioning on the app. And then Claude said, you very much have undersold yourself to many investors. Because she's like Claude pretty much said what I built, like pretty much what I'm selling is not what I should be selling. I should be selling like an entire infrastructure. And
Yeah.
then, so I guess I'm very proud. And then when I sent it to ChatGPT and I sent it to Gemini and Copilot, they say you massively undersold your capabilities. And then so like, and then so like, and now the deck matches the what I've actually built. So like
Yeah.
I'm really happy about that.
No, I mean, that's amazing. Like you say, finance background and, to code in 250,000 lines of code. That's, then learning cybersecurity at the same time. Like you said, single mama too. Like it's no small feat. That's doing too much. That's in a good way. You know what I'm saying? It's not, that's not,
I am
that's,
doing too much. So,
yeah, you know what I mean? But that's what I mean, that's part of the reason why I kind of started this was that it's a lot of people out here that's doing a lot of things, different things that's, have different thoughts in their head, that they can't really talk. Like you can't talk to everybody about demons and aliens being the same thing. You can't talk to everybody about cybersecurity and raising seed money in Series A, so it's like just giving that space where, we all can just kind of have a platform or space to, like there's other like-minded people out there, so like but like to your point, like that's doing a lot, like coding, because coding and even vibe coding is hard in a sense because you got to debug it this sometimes,
right.
so like just doing it from scratch, without that technical training or background, that's like you said, it's no small feat. That's something to be proud of.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love running too. So like I guess
Yeah. Do you like kind of code or be formulating different things while you're running, like just thinking about
whenever I have an issue, like in the morning, I would run. So that's why I say sometimes, like, I find running as meditation. So
Yeah,
if I have anything like, even professionally or personally per se, and if I feel very, very frustrated, I will go running. And if I'm level-headed and I'm running and I can't figure it out, I'm gonna just drop it, right?
yeah,
And I'm like, okay, I'll let God handle it. So like that actually helps me a lot with coding. Because there was like one instance, like Visual Studio, obviously there's still AI in it. And
yeah,
then I was pushing for this one thing. And then like, and Chat GPT was pushing back. She was like, I don't think you're supposed to do that. And I'm like, no, that's how it's supposed to work. And then so like now you're going against an AI, right? And the AI is supposed to be smarter. So I'm like, I went running, I come back, and then I go into Google, like, because I was setting up like a Google feature.
yeah,
I read the entire like, how-to guide, which took about like 8 hours. And I'm like, and then so I went back into the code and I'm like, what I said was correct. You have to do exactly that. And then after it was like, push and it was done it, and then the feature started working because like the entire app crashed was just
yeah.
because of one feature. And then so I'm like, okay, so like to your point, like that's why a lot of them say AI can make mistakes. AI can make mistakes because like the yeah,
No, I
like
mean that's
they make a lot of mistakes.
yeah. I don't argue with it, but I do play devil's advocate or kind of combat some of the things that it says quite regularly. Sometimes it be pissing me off. I'd be like, man, you know what? I'm just going.
I might.
I'm about to just use you to format. I'm about to use this as a secretary. You're just about to just format this, clean it up, make this a bullet to list. I'm not asking you no serious quick because you making me mad right now. Or you just confirmation bias. Oh, that's the greatest. No, man, give me an analysis.
Like literally. And I'm like, why? I'm like, you're in AI. Why are you assuming? Like, I should be assuming, not you. Like they're quite dangerous. Because remember when one of them tried to convince a guy to go, like, bomb Miami airport? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it was Gemini.
I seen that one dude on Oprah. He was talking about he was helping his daughter with homework about pi, and then it led to like a rabbit hole about how AI is dangerous. It's about to take over the world, and he was calling all the three-letter agencies and telling them he had all these different reports, and then so somebody finally asked him, did he ever like cross references? So he put it in Gemini, and then it was like, yeah, that's completely false. Like that can never happen. And now he's depressed because he wasted like 6 months of his life. And he was on Oprah, like, I mean, because he was saying I was putting in like 8, 10 hours a day. And I could just only imagine like that GPT, all those LLMs, them things that just it'll just keep feeding you the same.
Same
It
crap.
just tell you what you want to hear, and then it'll sound so right, and it may be right to a T, and then one little small thing that be not, and then it just keep getting nested, and then you in a space that if you're not familiar with AI, if that's like your first introduction,
You're doomed.
you
You're
you be
doomed.
all jacked up.
Yeah, I tell people that because like, and then that's why a lot of investors, there's not so quick to like, invest in people because you're gonna tell the AI to build this for you, and then like there's nothing functional. Like,
No,
it's literally, and then now you don't even know if it's possible to be built
yeah.
because the AI just made up a mock-up for you. So like, yeah, it's so dangerous. And then I mean, AI has been around for like 60 plus years,
Yeah, it's been
but
around forever. It's just this is the first time widespread commercial usage, to the public can actually use it or experience it. But
that's where the bad actors comes in.
oh
Like,
yeah,
and then like, like there's yeah, there's various type of actors, but like, the low level ones, the very bored ones, literally they will spend hours because this guy, he trained Claude for 2 months, and then he told Claude to break into the Mexican government, and Claude did it within
yeah.
5 minutes.
I mean, yeah, that Claude Code is crazy.
Yeah,
You had that thing just be going. I mean, I've seen it do some wild stuff. So that thing is you give it access to all the different resources and whatnot. There's really no limit to what it happen, what did it do.
exactly. Yes.
Okay, so the next question is, what book, movie, or documentary, or podcast, or any kind of form of media that you read or listened to that changed the way you currently view like life or the world?
Hmm. I have a couple. I would say for uh for a book, I would say it might be a little dark, but 48 Laws of Power always come to mind. I listen
Yeah.
to it and I read it.
No, yeah, 40, I mean, that's a good book. That's like a staple, that's like one of those top 10 books you recommend. That's always like on there.
Always.
Like Alchemist, 48 Laws of Power, it'd be
How to
some
learn.
Malcolm Gladwell book, maybe
Yeah.
Outliers or something. It's like those are always that's like a staple on that list.
People. But so in terms of a podcast, let me see. For me, I wouldn't say I mean, I listen to let me see. I have a few. Some of them like in terms of how I view the world and in terms of people, I listen to On Purpose with Jay Shetty.
What's that? What's that like?
So like
I guess like what in what way has it kind of helped shape your view or how you look at things?
so up that's how you knew I had a lot of growing up to do. Up until like a year ago, I I I would like, if someone's do something like, mean to me, like, I'll be in a funk, and then like, I'll stop, talking to that person, and then like, then you start blaming yourself, and like, so like with him, and like, and like even a couple of other ones, but him specifically, you have to learn how to not blame people for what they do to you. Like, in a sense, like because it's just human nature. So like
Yeah,
if you just like if I say like if Michael Jackson say like he's gonna help me with my homework, and Michael Jackson ghosts me, and then like can't help me with my homework, and then it's like, why did you put all your faith in him? You should have believed in yourself first,
yeah,
right? And then so don't go blaming Michael Jackson because he didn't do it. Maybe he have something going on, right?
Yeah.
And then that's where we go to, like, all of the terror, because we all had to learn that with all the madness that was outside. But like, so when you actually meet someone and they're super angry, like, you need to literally ask yourself, why is that person angry?
Yeah.
People just don't wake up angry. Something terrible is happening to them, right? And then so like it just tell you to, like, if someone comes at me and they curse me out and they're doing all these other things to me, I'll legit walk away. Like, or whenever I see people, I'll say good morning, like, no matter who I see, like, good morning, sir, good morning, ma'am, like, like, because you just never know, like, because you just hear all the stories about, like, oh, like, I just lost my job, my dog died, and, like, I'm about to lose my house too. And then you bump your cart, and then he gets loud and you get loud when both people are when outsiders are looking at people, because I look at some of this, like, when outsiders are looking at two people arguing, they're gonna
Yeah.
look at two idiots, like,
Yeah.
not the person that started screaming first, right? So like, I don't know, I learned to not blame anyone and not to expect anything from anyone but myself, just because you don't know what the person is going through.
Yeah. No, that
And
makes sense.
yeah.
No, that's good. I mean, cause yeah, cause like you said, you never know what they're going through. You never know what just happened. You don't know how they deal with things or process it or how they
Yeah.
interpreted it. Like I mean, even like me and my wife, we hear something, we hear the same thing, and I we interpret it in two different ways. She may take offense, I may just be like think nothing of it, or vice versa. So so you never know, and you be like, so you gotta watch. Like you say, just don't take stuff personal. I think at the end of the day, you can't take it personal because people gonna people.
Because it's just human nature. Like,
Yeah,
it
that's
just,
good.
yeah.
And so the last one is like what like societal norm, belief, or faith are you currently like reworking or questioning right now?
Hmm. That's a good one. Societal.
'Cause I mean, like for this one, I heard it's been like a wide range, and like some people, certain aspects of like religion or the Bible or whatever, or that some people like just like certain sayings that people say, like keep your head down and work hard. They was like, or it's okay for me to want more. Like so, it's wide. It don't have to be any particular thing. It's like just wide range of things that they're like, what, I was always told this, but now I'm realizing that that may not be the best, or I'm currently kind of revisiting or reworking or questioning why, in a sense.
Well, I guess in terms of like religion,
Hmm.
like, Seven Adventists, like, we observe the Sabbath, like from Friday sunset, like, growing up, couldn't even watch TV, like, like, we couldn't do anything until sunset the next day.
Yeah.
And so, uh, like, and then, like, in terms of, like, observing, like, the Ten Commandments, obviously you could try, but like, uh in addition to that, like, the Seven Adventist religion, you couldn't eat shellfish, you can't eat pork,
Mm.
and, like, there was just so many things you weren't able to do. And then so when I joined the Navy, all of that was thrown out the window,
Yeah.
right? Like, and then, like I felt some sort of guilt, because, like, the first time I had oyster sauce, like, my throat closed up, and then I used to think, like, oh, it's God that, like, that's punishing me. And it's God. No, it wasn't God that punished me. I finally ate, like, something that I've never ate my entire
Yeah.
life, right? And then, like, so that was the reason too. And then and I tried pork once, and then so I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna go to hell. But, like, long and short of it, like, what I'm trying to say is that I do eat shellfish. Like, I don't, I'm not gonna say I eat pork. Like,
Yeah.
I might have it, like, maybe once a year if I taste it or something, but I do enjoy, like, shellfish. I no longer observe the Sabbath, and I'm still a good person. Like,
Yeah.
so, like, I guess religion, like, there's a big, I religion cause a lot of issues in like every single culture, right? Like
Yeah, every single one.
yeah, like they'll tell you not to do all these things, and then like they're doing all of that. And I'm like, they're doing everything that they're telling you not to do. And then when you actually do it, and then I'm like, wait, that doesn't make me a sinner. Like, we
Yeah.
couldn't even like, celebrate Christmas. So like, and then like, I have children. So when I like, when I finally had my kids and stuff, I started celebrating Christmas.
Yeah.
And then from other Seventh-day Adventist people, like like my other colleagues who are Seventh Adventists, like according to their religion, you either drink alcohol or you can eat meat. You can't do both. And I'm like, why? Like, so so like
A
there's so
bunch
many
of drunk vegetarians.
a whole bunch of drunk. Literally, there's a whole because people was gonna take alcohol, and then
I give up the meat. I ain't giving up the either.
so um I I guess you just have to live
Yeah.
life and just be a good person and and like religion is great. Like, and people should have something to believe in.
Yeah.
But you know, you don't have to listen to everything that they tell you because God says to come as you are, and God's not gonna tell you like, oh, you ate shellfish, you're gonna go to hell for it. Like, because you can always repent. Like, I'm like, sorry, I
Yeah.
ate shellfish, God. Like, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I always looked at the religion more so as like a means of how to be a good person,
yes.
versus, strict guidelines. Because, I mean, there wouldn't be 2,000 different religions, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, even for Christianity was started because of Christ, and, Christ, AD is 2026. So Christ died 2026 years ago. He was 33. So, what religion was 3,000 years ago? It wasn't, Christianity wasn't even around. So you're saying everybody pre 3,000 years ago went to hell because they didn't practice a religion that didn't even exist. You know, so
Please.
so
I'm
it's
like,
just like a basis, a foundation of just being a good person, like, and then you go from there.
just don't hurt people and be kind to people. Like
Yeah.
if you do these two things and you take care of yourself, obviously, like if you eat too much, you're definitely sinning and whatever. I do
Yeah.
believe in that. That's definitely gluttony, right?
Yeah.
And then too much of anything can be terrible for you. Even running. Like I could tell you that much, right? Because a lot of people have died from that. But like yeah, you just have to be balanced.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And in terms of words of affirmation, like no matter how bad of a day you had, like when you go to sleep, you always say, tomorrow when I wake up, I'm gonna have a great day. And then when you wake up, you're gonna say, I'm gonna have a great day today. As soon as you're done praying, and majority of the time you're gonna have a
Yeah,
great day.
majority of the time, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
although you may hold on to that negative that 10 seconds out of the whole day that ruined the rest of the 24, 23 hours,
Right?
you still, majority, 99% of the time is a great day or a good day. So,
Because we're not in the hospital.
yeah,
And
still
we're not in
breathing.
prison. You
Well, well, I appreciate it, Ruth. Thank you for, hopping on. It's been good.
Thank you so
Like I
much.
said, I'll get these all edited up. I have a couple, so I normally do them once a week that I'll post them. So I'll send you the links. They're on Spotify,
That's so cool. I
YouTube,
love
and
that.
Apple Podcasts. So
That's so
yeah.
cool. I'd love to even if you open to it, I'd love to like, probably introduce you to a couple of people, like
Oh
depend
yeah, definitely.
in terms of entrepreneurs, maybe like I know people from like, robotics, maybe get like a VC on, like, a couple of people if you'd be open to
Yeah,
it.
no, that'd be good. I'll be open to it because, I mean, one of the biggest things, because I from like January to April I was recording like almost every week, like had one coming out. But once like like May and beginning of June, it was hard just because people, you get people lined up and then they don't show or they forget or like, oh, I can't do it. Oh, I can't do that. So you start scheduling, and you're working around your schedule. I was like, man, I'll
Yeah.
pick it. I'll wait till I get like a. I built a list of it before I start doing it again because, I'm working my schedule around their schedule. Then they like last minute. Oh, I forgot. Or that I'm saying, all right, man.
I'm so sorry about this morning, by the way.
Oh
My
no, that was
yeah,
fine. I didn't have anything going on. It's just like the ones that just like I forgot or don't even text you. You sitting in here waiting. You're like, hey, you pulling up? Oh yeah, no, yeah, I can't. I'm like, all right.
yeah, that's terrible. Yes, yes, yes. I just like, I was like, okay, let me go run first thing in the morning as soon as my sister, so my sister, she works at a nursing home that's not too far from me.
hmm
And so she dropped him off here yesterday. And so she was like, hey, I have to work again. Can I come over and shower? And I'm like, okay, cool. When you come over my house and shower, I'm gonna go running, right? And then so as soon as she walked in the house, I'm like, boom, I'm gonna go running. And then she went back to work. She
Yeah,
works a lot. Like, that's crazy.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's cool. But no, well, happy Juneteenth. And I
Thank you
appreciate
so
the
much.
time. And yeah, just feel free to send any referrals over or anything like that.
Yes, yes. And I'm gonna send you the app and stuff. And I'll send you the new updated deck too, so you could actually look at it.
Okay.
Like, yeah, when the guys were actually, because we had a meeting yesterday, my CFO and CTO and stuff. And it was like, oh, this is not an MVP at all. Because I even would not let them see it. I'm like, bro, like until I fix everything, I don't want people to see it. And then so when we actually sat down and we were going through, like, I shared the
Yeah.
screen with them and then we were running all the scans, and it was like, oh, that's why you were so busy. And I'm like, yeah, like 20 hours a day.
Yeah, I wasn't just sitting around just
Just
wishing.
chilling.
Yeah, chilling, watching movies.
Right? Right? Yes, yes, yes. Well, thank you so much again for your time and have a wonderful day today.
All right, you too. All right, bye bye.